Howdy, folks. Woody Walls from NeedCoffee.com here. Back again with another Wayhomer review. For the uninitiated, here's how these things work. I have just left the cinema, which is way back over that way somewhere, and I've seen a film. And I've left the cinema, gotten here into my car with you in the passenger seat, and I will tell you about the film on my way home. And this evening, we're here to talk about Hugo. So, Hugo. Holy crap. Alright, so, what can we say about Hugo? Here's the deal. There's a kid by the name of Hugo. Big surprise. But the surprise is that he lives in a train station. And he lives there because his father, who is his only surviving parent, died suddenly, leaving him in the care of his uncle, who worked at the train station and lived at the train station, and basically taught Hugo how to run his job, the uncle's job at the train station, so that he could go off and drink. Not a bad deal. Anyway, but the one thing that he has left from his father is an automaton, a writing machine, basically a person-shaped machine that, when wound up properly and fixed properly so it'll work, will write. But the trouble is that he has not been able to finish his father's work of getting it to work again. So, the story picks up with him trying to forage parts out of the station to fix this automaton, to figure out just what the automaton is about and what part it plays with his father and himself and life and whatever. So that's a pretty good synopsis, I would think. And so, okay. Here's the part of doing the Wayhomers that sucks, okay? Is because, there's no lie, honestly, I go from the film, watch the credits, go tinkle, because I have a bladder the size of a walnut, and these films are long, and then I come out and I get in the car. That's all the processing time that I have. So if I seem like I don't know what I'm talking about, and I'm making it up as I go along, it's because I don't know what I'm talking about, and I am making it up as I go along. But that's all well and good for stuff like Sex and the City 2, when you can just make it up. But with something like Hugo, I'm going to need a while to chew on this before I feel I can give it a proper review. Now, but that's not a cop-out. We'll just have to settle for an improper review. Because, holy crap, folks, there is just a lot to deal with in this film. I mean, you know, we've been complaining a lot about trailers recently in these, because there's been a lot to complain about when it comes to trailers, because nobody knows how to do a trailer anymore, right? But, I mean, the trailer wasn't bad. It just, I don't know that it did it justice, because, I mean, you've got the kids and an adventure, and one of the best lines ever about an adventure in the trailer, and you've got the automaton, and you know that there's a key, and you know there's a mystery and whatever, but I don't know, it just doesn't really do it justice, because the film itself is so much more than that. It is, first of all, it's easy to see, I mean, Rox was saying on the podcast how Martin Scorsese was interested in doing this because he is a fan of 3D and he wanted to do it correctly. And you know I must be impressed with the 3D, because normally these days, a live-action 3D film, what do? I end up telling you about it at the end of the review because I've freaking forgotten it was in 3D. Now, that's saying something, because when you pay that much money for something and you forget that it just happened, that's pretty sad. But the thing about this is gorgeous. I mean, okay, you've got, like, James Cameron, who knows how to do 3D, who, in my opinion, Avatar was just amazing. And before this, they showed the Titanic 3D trailer, which looks amazing, because Cameron is not stupid, and is not going to do Avatar, which does this amazing 3D, and then turn around and redo Titanic just to make it look like ass. But instead, it looks amazing. But then, this film looks incredible. It feels a lot like Amelie. Not just because it takes place in France and because that's an easy out, but because of the colorful palette involved in the film that Scorsese, as Rox was telling us, made sure wasn't going to get screwed up by putting it into 3D. And the good news is, it really doesn't. It's just kind of gorgeous and amazing. And it is simultaneously, if this makes any sense at all, two things, right? This is the film equivalent of The Two Faces in the Vase, right? Because it is simultaneously a film with kind of an epic quest kind of feel, if that makes any sense. Because you're looking for clues and you're trying to track down things, and yet it all, for the most part, takes place in this train station. So epic and small at the same time. And it is a love letter to cinema. Because you can tell, I mean, even if you didn't know that Scorsese, even if you didn't know going into it that he was a fan of 3D and he was a fan of cinema, you would know that by watching the film, because this film could not be made by somebody who is not absolutely and utterly in love with cinema. It's just so very obvious. And so it's not only a love letter to cinema of the past and what an impact that has on people's lives, but it's also, by being 3D and being so good at being 3D, which it literally is probably the best live-action 3D film you will see this year, okay? And you should see it. Spoilers for my review, you should see it. But they make a point of bringing up the fact that, and which I had read, and it's kind of like an old wives' tale, but yet it's a movie, so who cares? But the film of the train coming into the station that was first publicly shown, and that people freaked because it was a train coming into the station, and they thought that the train was going to come into the station and run them over. Apparently it wasn't as dramatic as that, but it's a film, so who cares? But good 3D, like really amazing effects in 3D and the stuff that we can do now, I get the feeling that Scorsese is both celebrating the cinema of the past and wanting to celebrate the cinema that we have now and trying to instill that same sort of effect of, holy crap, did you see that? Right? So again, two things happening at the same time. And this pervades throughout the film. This idea of the duality. So, I mean, that's what really strikes me about the film on the whole. The other thing that strikes me is the kid who plays Hugo is really good. I mean, like, really, like, okay, you know how I always joke about how the Fanning sisters, Dakota and Ellie, or Elle Fanning, I don't know how you say it first, you know I can't do names. Anyway, were like grown in a lab, and that's why they're so good. He's like that good, like heartbreakingly good. Because as achingly beautiful as the film is on the whole, with the palettes and the sets and the costumes and the 3D and the whatever else, unless you've got some kind of emotional center, right, that you can travel through it with and believe it, right, that all of this is happening and it's happening to real people, it wouldn't work. I mean, it would just be a beautiful thing that you would, I don't know, stare at like a, just a painting. Not to say that paintings are bad, but you know what I mean. It would just be eye candy. It wouldn't have an emotional core to it like this film does, and it's because of him that it does that. The other person who brings first of all, everyone's great in it. There's not anybody that's really great. If anything, one of the things that I think I wish I had more in the film, and I'm not comparing the film to the book because I haven't read the book, but there's so many, this nice community of characters that interact within this train station that you feel like have more going on that is presented in the film. And they've got such great actors playing them that you almost want to know more about what's going on there. But Ben Kingsley, after, being in... First of all, he's Ben Kingsley, for God's sake, right? So he's fantastic. We all know he's fantastic. But he's been in some... He's been in Michael Caine mode, okay? Let's just put it that way. He's been paying the bills, and let no one say anything bad against that, especially me, at least not on tape. But, he's been paying the bills, and that's well and good. But with this, he is... he is, again, process faster. My brain is old. But he is like... just as the kid playing Hugo is that on the young end of the spectrum of the heartbreak and what he's lost and all that stuff. Again, there you go, back to duality. There's my theme. Thank you, theme, that you've got Ben Kingsley there, who also has experienced loss and heartbreak, and on the opposite end of the age spectrum. Not to blow away the theme or anything, but you have all of these characters, and I think that is the reason why the community of characters in the train station are still there, is because you have all of these incomplete people trying to become whole. And that is what the film ultimately, I think, wants to say, and says it extremely well. And that's why it's not just a really keen 3D movie, and that's why it just strikes home, is because if there's any sort of universal type of thing, it's the fact that everybody feels incomplete in some way, or left out, or cast out, or something, and just wishes they knew what the piece was that could fix them and make them whole. That the film really speaks to that in a really profound way, and that's why it was so terribly moving. So in case you haven't figured it out, I already told you to go see it. I'm very happy with the film, and it's like, I saw, my last one was My Week with Marilyn. I was very happy with it, willing to walk away. Apart from considering Michelle Williams' Oscar, chances, I haven't thought that much about it. But with this, this is a film that I really want to see multiple times. And this is the sort, Hollywood, you bastards, this is the sort of film that is going to make people want to buy 3D televisions at home, okay? Not your Conan the Barbarian, not your, not even your Transformers 3, okay? So this is the sort of film that you could just watch over and over again, and you would want to see it in 3D because it doesn't take anything away from it. And in fact, instead of just being nifty, the film itself is enhanced by it, and your experience is enhanced. Hollywood, you bastards, I know you all watch, so just, for God's sake, listen. My rates are reasonable. Anyway, so what I would say is this. Because I know 3D is expensive, figure out a time that you can go and see this for, a matinee. Make sure it's in a good theater, because you want to make sure their rig, their setup is good. I know that's a bit of a crapshoot, but see it in the best theater that you can, because this really is an amazing film, and really deserves to be seen in a cinema where they give a damn what their, setup looks like. So yeah, that is my recommendation. As far as cups go, at present, I am going to give it an extremely, extremely high 4.5. And I can't quite tell you why, because I'm one of these people who, it's not that I dislike the film, it's just that I do not give out just 5 stars to anything less than what I think is an actual flawless film. And it's not like I can actually point to where the flaw was, but there's just something, and I don't know what it is. And that's the extra processing power that I need to be able to figure that out, because I just don't know. But it was just really amazing. So anyway, there you go. A very, very high 4.5 out of 5 cups for Hugo in 3D. And please, please go and see it, because it's very good. And if you have any concerns about Ender's Game, my understanding is the kid playing Hugo is going to be Ender. So the whole reason why that has not happened is because they have not been able to find a kid who can pull off that role. And guess what? I think they did. So there you have it. So wow, yeah, I'm gonna. I mean, the original definition of the Wayhomer is here. Think about it on the way home. I am definitely going to be carrying this one with me for a little while. But anyway, but that's all we have time for this evening. So I just want to say thank you for all of you, to all of you who watch, for all of you who comment, both on YouTube and on the website. I appreciate that, and I try to respond to as many comments as I can. And if I haven't, it's probably because I may not have seen them, because the YouTube notification system for some reason is a little wonky. Anyway, but thank you so much. Like I said in previous ones, if you have not done so, please come like us on Facebook. The more the merrier over there. Just go to needcoffee.com/Facebook, and it'll take you right to us, and you can like us. And because we like to be liked, and I know that you like to be liked by people who like you and get liked. So, until next time on the Wayhomer, they will be coming fast and furious as we go through the end of the year with everyone piling on the films. We'll keep up as best we can. So, thanks again for everyone's support. We'll see you next time. Bye.